The U.S. Special Envoy for Haiti resigned last week following the inhumane treatment meted out on citizens at the U.S.-Mexican border. At least 13,000 Haitian migrants have been living in makeshift camps under a bridge near the border, which is now being cleared out. The U.S. started deportation flights last weekend from a border town. Local officials struggle to provide them with food and adequate sanitation. In the meantime, horrific images of U.S. officers on horseback whipping migrants trying to get back, having crossed into Mexico to buy food and supplies, have drawn great criticism. Joining me now is Ambassador Jean Pilaud, Haiti's former ambassador to the UK and Northern Ireland, who is now founder of Life Skills Haiti, a non-profit organization that focuses on vocational education in Haiti's countryside with a mission to providing the necessary resources to allowing underprivileged Haitian youths with education and technical skills to find employment. Ambassador Pilaud joins me from Westwood, Massachusetts. Ambassador Pilaud, thank you for joining me on the program.
Thank you, Amarachi, for having me, and I thank your viewers for allowing me into their home.
It is a pleasure. Let's begin with a couple of obvious questions. Why are people leaving Haiti, and why are they coming to the United States?
Amarachi, if you look at world history, throughout history, migration always existed. People would leave their homeland looking for jobs, looking for a better life. Back in 2010, so you can understand the context by which Haitians are migrating right now. In 2010, we had a 7.0 magnitude earthquake that nearly destroyed the capital. We lost over 200,000 people. 1.3 million people were displaced. That event in itself started fueling the migration of Haitians toward the Southern Hemisphere. Initially, a lot of Haitians started going towards Chile, towards Brazil, where they were promised jobs. They started working there, and slowly the jobs started drying out. They started experiencing discrimination. Then they decided that to make the journey upward, hoping to reach Mexico, where their intent was to try and find a better life there. Rumors about the Mexican border being open to allow Haitian into the United States and misunderstanding about how the US was extending the temporary protected status for Haitians living in the United States precipitated what you saw the other day, what we have been all seeing on TV lately. So that is the basis, the history for why you are seeing so many Haitians migrating right now.
And Haiti, as an island nation, has gone through a lot. You just mentioned the 7.0 magnitude earthquake back in 2010. It actually went through another one on September 20, the 4.2, beg your pardon, a magnitude earthquake on the 20th of September. There's also been a political crisis. First of all, about whether the late president had a right to continue another year in office when his own term had expired, and then he was also assassinated in office. When you're thinking about all of these problems about Haiti, what comes to mind? You know, you being sometimes on the outside, having to look through the eyes of, you know, the international community back into Haiti. What are you seeing?
Well, lately, about 2 weeks ago, I came back from Haiti. I had an opportunity and a privilege to visit the ravaged South, where you are seeing women and children sleeping standing up on their tops because their home have been destroyed and they don't have the means to rebuild yet. When I look all that's been happening with Haiti lately, I am thinking Haiti cannot continue to be the way it is right now. Haiti cannot continue to be depending upon foreign aid. Aid is not the way forward for Haiti. Our friends in the international community need to start looking at us through a different set of lenses. We, Haitians, need to start changing the narrative. And at the same time, it is important that Haiti start reassessing its relationship with its friends, its relationship with its partners, in a way that will be adjusted, that will benefit Haiti moving forward. When I look at all this thing, this is what I'm thinking. This cannot continue the way it has been going for ages.
Are you saying, because Haiti does have friends around the world, everyone is concerned about what's happening in your country. I think the U.S. is interested, but when you're looking at those pictures of hundreds under that bridge in Texas, which is now being cleared out, and then the inhumanity, of the officers on horseback trying to drive people back into Mexico, you really do wonder, whether people should be coming to Haiti in that manner. But then again, you're talking about revising relations with foreign partners. But these are the same foreign partners who've come to Haiti's aid at the time of trouble. Look at the earthquake in 2010. It was mainly international interventions that helped Haiti get through that, including, what's currently going on now. So what sort of help would Haiti need at this moment?
Well, at this moment, when you look at how a country moves forward, how a country evolves, it's never with aid. We would much rather those partners look at us as equal partners, as they so often call us, and have a more balanced relationship where it's not so much in giving Haiti aid every now and then, giving Haiti a lifeline so Haitians can be right above the water so you don't drown, but you will never get out of that water. This is the relationship that I'm saying that we should be revisiting. The status quo is not sustainable. I don't know any country who came out of the darkness with foreign aid. And so far, it appears as if all Haiti is good for is hand them aid that is not really sustainable. Because right now, it is time for Haitians. It is time for every single Haitian and every people who look like Haitian to start thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where did it go all wrong? How do we stop? How do we pause? How do we reassess? And how do we readjust? Because we speak of partners and friends. Haiti has been independent for 217 years. It does not take 217 years for a country to move forward. We've seen evidence of countries who went to war, who were destroyed overnight. And within a few years, those countries, they were rebuilt and they are thriving. The question is there a true willingness from some of our partners to see a prosperous Haiti? That should be the question.
Ambassador Jean Pillard, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for discussing with me on Diplomatic Channel.
Pleasure to be here with you.